Hello again, and here we are, A Perfectly Paranormal, episode 123. My name's Annaschmidt, and I'm here every week, yes, every week, to annoy you with true paranormal encounters and information about devils, demons, and dark energy beings that no one else talks about. They truly don't. I really do share some weird and wacky stuff, and I'm really glad you're here to listen to it. And today is an interesting episode. We are talking unhappy land spirits, land guardians, and how they reached out to my friend Liz in Canada in a very unusual way, and then she contacted me needing advice. And I thought you would love to hear what came out of this. There really is some rather fascinating information, and even some information that you could use to help the land in your locations that have been logged or flooded or traumatised. We'll get into this, and it's literally Liz and me emailing, and I thought it was so well written that I'm just going to read to you exactly what Liz wrote to me, and then my responses and the suggestions, things that you can use that Liz is also implementing in her place of living, in front of her apartment block. It's so exciting how we can help the environment around us. Okay, so let's get into it. Enough waffling on. So Liz, my friend who lives in Canada, wrote to me one day asking, so say someone was to be having a nightmare about land spirits, were being so traumatized that a really scary metallic looking walking and talking tree being, picture it kind of made of bubbling hematite, which by the way, whose outrage you can feel at your own core. Now this creature is either calling to you for help or about to kill you. And then your husband is waking you up because of all the frantic sounds that Liz was making when she was asleep. She said, well, this happened to me about 2 years ago. It happened right after witnessing a great deal of tree cutting right outside our 5th floor apartment window that just traumatized me more than I thought. And what if I was really being asked to calm or help restore the land in some way? What could I possibly do? They cut down almost all the trees for no beeping reason. That's exactly what she wrote. She said, I might add, sorry, but I'm still working on my anger issues over that one. Now, the memory of that metallic tree coming to me is still stuck in my head. Even though it was in a dream and it was over 2 years ago, it is still there. I ended up at the time taking that whole nightmare to the holy ones up above, and after that I never saw the desperate image ever again. It was only when I think about it now that it is coming back to me, and it is becoming more real again every time I look out that window. I tried to capture the bubbling hematite land being in my artwork, and I couldn't even come close to the image. Mostly because I didn't know how to eloquently illustrate the sheer terror in a single image, without a blackness that doesn't even exist in any of the art supplies that I own. I hardly even remember dreams or nightmares usually. Maybe my lifetime poor memories protecting me from not knowing too much. But are memories our best friends or our worst enemies? That's one of those questions that I'll put on my list of questions I have when I meet the real God. Now, it's getting really late. I'm tired. My thoughts are fading, so my brain says nighty-night and I should stop here. Stay amazing, Anna, and stay safe. Love from Liz in Toronto. Now, what a fascinating email. I'm like, as soon as I read that, I'm like, I reckon I need to share this with people. With Liz's permission, she knows exactly what I'm doing. I thought people need to know about what Liz experienced because other people would be experiencing this. So this is my reply to Liz's email. Hi Liz, wowzers. I would say that you are very in tune with the energy world, and I am very grateful for YouTube, the YouTube gods, for bringing us together. Now, halfway through me writing this email to Liz, it kind of turned into a flooding suggestion, like a flooding list of suggestions to help you and the land. Now, this is you, the listener, but also you, as in Liz. So what did I come up with? I wrote them all down. I came up with 7 possible suggestions that people can use to help the traumatised land around them. Now, number 1, the land wouldn't have shown you, so I'm writing this in the way that I would have written it in my reply to Liz. The land would have shown you its fears and terror, not to frighten you, but it feels your empathy with it. And that really does make sense. It wants help, and it knows that you can help. Even if you don't know how to help, it knows you can help. So number 2, you can talk to the land. Now, I know that sounds odd. I do it all the time. I talk to buildings, talk to land, talk to furniture when I'm doing the clearings of them. They're all energy. And I work with the archangels. So I ask Archangel Raphael and Archangel Ariel to assist with healing the land of its traumas. Raphael works with healing. Ariel works with the environment. So you put them together and what have you got? You are healing the land. I mean, you can look them up online. They're fabulous vibrations to work with. They really, really do work with helping to heal yourself and the environment. So number 3, you could buy some small pieces of clear quartz to assist with the healing too, as kind of a peace offering. The land loves offerings. It really, really does. You can't undo what has been done, but you can offer healing to the land. It listens, it knows your caring vibration, and it appreciates you. It appreciates any level of healing that you are able to give to it. Now, talk to the metallic tree-like being as well, because that could be a way that the energetic land guardians have shown themselves to you. I think that's kind of exciting. I do love hematite, and I can imagine a bubbling hematite tree wandering around like one of the trees in the Lord of the Rings movies in the forest. All you Lord of the Rings fans out there, don't slap me for not knowing the names of the trees, but there's an amazing tree people, the tree beings. That's what I see in my mind, but all made out of bubbling hematite. Now, this tree wasn't angry at you, but your paranormal life experiences triggered the fear in you, and that's why you responded that way. And we're merely humans. Like, we don't know how this stuff works. I fumble my way through it all the time. This is why I can educate people, because I've experienced the positives and the negatives, and I can help you avoid the negatives and learn about the positives. So, number 5, also, you could plant some small hematite pieces in the area where the trees were removed, because that is a particular mineral that has come to you. Maybe the land wants the vibration of hematite to be put back into it. If you were to plant hematite and the clear quartz, the quartz amplifies any crystals or minerals that it is planted near, with, on, above, under, whatever. It's an amplifier. Now, what Liz did is she actually created a crystal grid that she used in her home at the window that looks out onto the property. Because if people see you wandering around planting crystals in the ground, oh my goodness, day or night, 1, they're going to think you're probably a bit loopy, and 2, they're probably going to go and pinch them, which doesn't really benefit the land in any way. Now, number 6, you could do some singing. Go and sit on the land, sing, hum, walk on it, play beautiful music, have a picnic, utilise the land in a loving, supporting, peaceful, calm way. Because what you're doing is you are balancing out the traumas that have occurred on the land. And we're going to talk about that soon, because I'm going to share what I found in the land, as in trauma imprints, emotional imprints, dark entities, spirits, and I can't remember whether there was elementals. We'll see as I go through my notes. So support the land in any way that you want to. I mean, if you're allowed to, have a bit of a party down there, have a neighbourhood barbecue, get people together, share and celebrate the earth, the land. I mean, do it on an Earth Day, or there's always days every day of the year that are celebrating something. Use that piece of land in a loving way. And also too, Liz is an artist. So Liz can use her art to heal the land, but also, this is the other benefit, also as a type of healing for herself. When people use artwork, you're expressing your emotions. Now, a way I can describe this is that I have a friend in the past that was in a bushfire vicinity. Her place of where she was living was nearly burnt down. And it wasn't, but she was very traumatised by seeing the flames coming over the hill and having nowhere to go. So what she did, she created this massive piece of artwork, flames and bits of burnt ash and burnt wood, and she went to the site and she collected rocks. She did like a 3D collage. It's beautiful, like 2 meters tall, but I think it was about 1 meter wide. And it helped her heal her emotions around what was done to the land, putting it on canvas. You can paint it, draw it, collage it. You could, I don't know, there's millions of ways you could do artwork. It's whatever works for you if you're that way inclined. Now, waiting for Liz's email reply, it came a few days later after she tried to send me, poor thing, she tried to send me many photos of the plot of land in front of her home. And I knew what had happened. Like, she just couldn't, they wouldn't let them come through. This is what happens with dark and demonic entities. They divert our communications. They're very, very good at it. Things go in spam folders. They end up in cyberspace and you never see them. Anyway, the photos finally came, and I had one photo of the land from Liz's window, and I tuned into that piece of property. And I think you might find it interesting to see what I found, because I do very in-depth energetic clearings. Liz can do an energetic clearing and healing in her way with her art, with her crystal grids. I can do the other side of it. We all have our own ways of doing things, but it's all for the same outcome. The method isn't important as long as the outcome is there to benefit the land, the energy beings on the land, the animals, the insects, all of it, and the people living around it. So once I got her photos and everything, this was my response to Liz I think it was about 2 days later. Hi, Liz. Permission was granted by the land for me to energetically enter and do the clearing. You never waltz into a haunted location unless you announce yourself and you ask permission to enter, because the spirits are not going to be very happy. So it's the same, and it's the same if you're doing energy clearing on a piece of property. You ask permission. If I've got a no way, you're not coming in here, I back off. I send Liz an email saying they're not ready yet. You talk to them, you let me know when they're ready, if they're ever ready. You don't do work without permission because you're upsetting the life path of either a person or an animal or a place. So back to where we were. Permission was granted, and the following information is what I found and cleared. Now, you're going to laugh lots and lots and lots. I had lots of procrastination kick in when I tuned into this property. Oh, my goodness. They do it to me all the time. These dark and demonic entities. They're like, oh, you need to go and do this. You need to do this. Oh, you need to cut your fingernails. Oh, you need to go and brush your hair. Oh, you need to go and hang the washing out. I'm like, no, I am not moving from this spot. Get back in your box. You are not going to be hurt or harmed in any way. You know how I work. You simply need to move house. You are just being very gently evicted from the property. Go and find somewhere else to live. That's all that's going to happen. These beings get their knickers in a twist, as we Australians say. They're so funny. They really, really are. I just said to them, I'm not looking at the buildings in the photo. I am simply focusing on the piece of land in front of Liz's window. And I had to cut out all the buildings, like I had to crop all the buildings out, because I tune into buildings. I can just feel what's there. And this is where the entities get upset. They're like, right, she's coming into my property, and she hasn't been employed to do that. I'm going to go and give her a bit of retaliation. And I'm like, back off, brother. Go home. I'm not interested. Off you go. Nope. I'm not taking any issues from you. Go back to that building. I am not interested. You just go about whatever you're doing. I know this all sounds very funny, but it's how it works. These beings can be reasoned with. You just need to treat them firmly, but generally with respect. So, looking at this property, there was one tall pine tree left. And this was the tree that Liz looked at every day when she looked out her window. It was one lone tree in this area where all its brothers had been cut down. There was a couple of trees a little bit further on that belonged to other people, so they weren't allowed to be cut down, but they cut down all these other trees. So when I do properties, I go where I'm guided. So I looked at the land and I went, permission, thank you very much. Where would you like me to start? And it was like the tall pine tree put his hand up. He's like, me please, me please. So there were 4 demonic entities around that pine tree that were attached to the following emotional imprints. There was, let me see, what have we got? Depression, sorrow, powerless, regret, defenseless, overwhelmed, dread, panic, paranoia, horror, indecisive, rage, distress, hostility, resentment, bitterness, and a few others that you can look at in the transcript. I don't want to bore you with all these emotions that I'm going to be reading out. But as you can see, depression, sorrow, feeling powerless, regret, defenseless. Now, this can be people's emotions, but they can also be created by trees, plants, animals. I presume if they can create emotions, they create feelings, they create trauma. They feel it, they absorb it, what they create and what they absorb from others. So this had been there these emotions had been within that tree for about 25 years, roughly. And like the emotional energy just alters the tree's energetic state. And then any birds or any little animals that might want to make a home in that tree are like, whoa, you're vibrating a bit strange there. I'm just going to go and live somewhere else. I know all you skeptics out there are going to go, she's nuts. But just hear me out. Think with an open mind. Be open to another way of thinking about these things. So once the pine tree was cleared, I moved on to the land. And I did the land in one piece. Remember, I chopped out all the buildings, so I couldn't see them. I wasn't taking anything away from the buildings. I only had permission to do this piece of snow-covered land. Now, there were emotional imprints, which are feelings and emotions, but there are also trauma imprints, which are actions that create energy that we create on the land. And there's no excuse for it, we just do. It's part of our human nature. Some of them are part of our human nature, some of them shouldn't be. But the emotional imprints, I'll read a few of them. There was remorse, shock, despair, vulnerability, depression, sorrow, powerless, hostility, helplessness, blame, resentment. And these emotions were recent, but they also went back to like 200 years plus. So people that walk on the land, work on the land, play on the land, drop these pools of energy all the time. And this goes on everywhere. It's not just on this one little piece of land in Canada where Liz lives. She's giving you insight by asking me to do this. She's giving you this window into the land in front of her home. Now, the land constantly absorbs energy from people. So it's their worries, their traumas, their negative experiences. The emotional energy alters the land's energetic state, its vibration, and it affects the plants planted in the soil and the people walking on the land and the animals like I mentioned earlier. Now that's important to remember that. Hold that in your brains for later. Now the trauma imprints. There were trauma imprints of the land of verbal abuse, physical violence, mental and emotional instability, depression, no will to live energy, recreational substance energy, alcoholism, accidents, falls, creating bloodshed. Bloodshed is a big problem for many reasons, but also energetically. And there was also a near-death experience vibration from someone who's possibly had a near-death experience and is walking around on that land, dropping that vibration there. Now, how do I know these were there? Because I've created these lists over the years of what I find in homes. I find that death and bloodshed are massive in homes. If you don't remove them, the demonic entities aren't leaving. They're like, nah, we're not going. That's our food source. You bugger off, we're staying here. And I'm like, no. I've been employed to clear this property. And I clear the bloodshed and the vibration and whoosh, off it goes into be recycled in the universal recycling bin, as I call it. Off that energy goes and the beings just, they pick up their suitcases and off they go. Anyway, so those trauma imprints, I ask the higher vibrational beings. I work with Archangel Raphael for clearing the land. Remember, he's the healer. So he helps clean up the mess that we create. I wonder if they just roll their eyes sometimes and they're like, oh, I've got to do this again. So Archangel Raphael cleared all the emotional imprints, all the trauma imprints, and then the spirits popped up. So this all happens in layers. Like if the spirits come first and they're like, we want to go first, I work with them. I just do whatever I'm told when I'm working with the land. So there were lingering spirits present on this land, numbering over 150 people. Now, how do I know that? I use my pendulum and I do my dowsing, and sometimes I get to certain numbers. So over 100, yep. Over 150, yep. More, and I'm like, nope, don't need to know. Don't really need to know numbers. We just sticky beaks and want to know. So 150 is a lot. And like I said earlier, there are more coming. So this is why we're going to create this particular thing on the land to help these spirits later on. So I asked Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael to activate a permanent transition beam for spirits to access into the afterlife. Now this energy beam, it's a one-way doorway into the afterlife for all spirits and all other entities that wish to leave the earth reality. It is a portal, but don't panic. It's not a negative portal into the dark realms. It is simply a doorway into the afterlife. Now, the next episode, 124, which I've just recorded, is all about how you can create a transition beam on your property if you need to. So have a listen to that episode and you'll hear all the information about whether this is relevant to you or not. It is simply a harmless way to help lost souls find their way into the afterlife. And it often helps to clear up a lot of energy-clogged buildings and the land where these spirits linger. Now, they can linger because of traumas that have been experienced, earthquakes, floods, massacres. It can be anything. It can be any reason why these people are here. We don't go into that because that's not what we're talking about today. But these transition beams offer these people a way out. It offers them a chance to move on into the afterlife, which one, benefits them, and two, benefits the earth, and well, three, benefits the people. Now, then I asked Liz if I could create a podcast episode about this topic, and I was sitting here rubbing my hands together going, please, Liz, please let me do this, because I wouldn't do it unless she said yes, because I was including her emails and her information. And she was more than happy for me to do this. So I had all that information I've just shared with you, actually shortened, not the way I've written it, but I've sent Liz all that information about what I found, and this was her reply. Hello, Anna. Your information is stunning. I'm actually staring at Pine Tree right now from my window, and my hand is on my heart, and I feel a great big mighty thank you. And when you listed all the terror, which I knew was there, all those emotions, all those traumas, the tears of anguish just sort of flooded down Liz's face. Now, Liz is a release for the land. She's so in tune and energy sensitive and such an empath. Her body is being used to release the emotions of the land. Like, we're not talking possession. I get spirits do this to me sometimes when I help transition them. They just need someone to feel their emotion and release it for them. Not all spirits, just some. So it's not possession. It is just simply something that happens sometimes. And that's all the information I've got about it. But she was just so happy. She wrote, how cool is that? Truly wonderful. Now, this is the interesting part. This is what Liz wrote. I saw a squirrel emerge and start sniffing around Pine Tree last night, and she said it made me smile. And I wonder if your energy work was taking place at that time, because Liz is in the northern hemisphere, I'm in the southern, and I'm usually working on people or places when people are asleep. And she did a little painting to honour the squirrels a couple of years ago when she noticed that they were all disappearing, and she sent me a picture of it. And it was really lovely. There was so much colour. It was just really beautiful. And this is the other point that came out of this, is that the squirrels have returned. Liz is happy, the squirrels are happy, and the tree's happy. But also, Liz has been exploring what crystal grids are, what they're all about for the last few days. Because of my suggestion about using crystals to put sort of on the land gave her an idea. So she was thinking about using nummite. I'm not sure what nummite is. I think it's NWMMITE. It's a stone, and she's going to put it in the centre of her crystal grid and surround it with her hematite bracelet, and then surround that with clear quartz points pointing outwards. And she says, does this sound like it will help them? And I'm sitting here nodding, going, absolutely. She said, this is all going to take a bit of time to absorb, but I'm so happy for you to share this story. And wow, Anna, please let me know how I can repay you for your work. It's not everybody who gets a golden portal to heaven outside their window. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love from all of us here, Liz. Now, I didn't charge Liz for that work. I figured that payment for me was the land being restored, being happy, helping Liz to get back into her artwork, which is something I haven't written here, but she did tell me that in future emails, that she's now she's felt a release since all of this has happened. And this is how, I know this is going to sound a bit woo-woo, this is how the universe works. When it wants you to do something, it is going to find a way to make it happen. So what got Liz's attention was the bubbling hematite energy being that was walking towards her. Like, it was in her face. She couldn't avoid it in any way. And then she contacts me, and then we work on a way to get this happening for the land, to help heal her little place in Toronto in Canada, to help heal Liz, for me to get some joy from helping people, to share the information with you so that possibly people out there might do the same sort of thing on their properties. All right, clearing the emotions and the entities, that comes with people that understand energy work. You have to know how to work with dark and demonic entities. But you can create a transition beam for all the spirits in the environment around you, especially if you are an energy worker, or a paranormal enthusiast, or a paranormal investigator, or you're just someone that seems to attract spirits into the home. You can give them another place to go so they're not in your house. So in next week's episode, 124, you're going to learn how to create a one-way energetic doorway into the afterlife to assist spirits here on Earth to find their way to the other side. And we're going to look at 5 simple steps that you can use. Anyone can do it, right? It doesn't take years of study and training and learning. It's all about intention. We're going to talk about using your intention, what the transition point or beam or doorway can look like, where it goes, and who can use it. So I'm sure a lot of you out there will find this very interesting. So stay tuned for next week's rather enlightening episode. And I look forward to spending time with you then. If you like the content of this episode today, please think about leaving me a rating and a review. What reviews do is they let other people know your thoughts about my supernatural subject matter. People love reading reviews, and we're spreading the word about the real paranormal world around us. I would really appreciate it. So thank you for joining me today. And don't forget, if you want to share a paranormal experience just with myself, or you would like me to share one of your experiences through my podcast, you can do a voice recording, or you can write out your experience and I will read it exactly as you have written. You can email me at spiritualbeing44@gmail.com. And for information on paranormal house clearing, you can visit my website, Spiritual Being. You will find the address in the description box. And I look forward to sharing this spooky space again with you next week. And remember, life is perfectly paranormal.